there, my name is Ron Pereira, and I'd like to officially welcome you to our Transforming Your Value Streams course. Now, longtime Gemba Academy customers may be thinking to themselves that they've already watched our value stream mapping course, and in fact, you might have. You see, in March of 2009, we launched Gemba Academy with this same 12-module value stream mapping course. Well, needless to say, we've gotten a lot better at making videos, and we've also learned where we had some gaps in that original value stream mapping course, such as not having enough examples of how VSMs can be leveraged in an office environment. With this said, we're very excited to bring this refreshed version of our value stream mapping course to the Gemba Academy community. Now, in this first module, we're going to officially begin our value stream mapping journey with an overview of the topic. Well, specifically, by the end of this module, you'll know what both a value stream and value stream map are. And you'll also know why value stream maps are so useful no matter what type of work you do. And finally, you'll be introduced to an 8-step process for creating and acting on value stream maps in both office and manufacturing environments. Okay, well, let's begin by answering the question, what is a value stream? Well, formally defined, a value stream is all the steps, both value-added and non-value-added, required to take a product or service from raw material to the waiting arms of the customer. Now, some of the most common examples of value streams are the overall request to fulfillment cycle, namely the material and information flow from the initial customer request or call for the product or service in question to the moment we collect the payment. Well, this call to cash value stream applies to just about any industry. Now, another example of a value stream is the cycle from the time an idea for a new product or service is first conceptualized to the time the product or service is produced and launched to the marketplace. Again, this particular value stream of concept to launch is broadly applicable to just about any industry. And finally, another way of understanding the power of a value stream is to think about the overall lead time for a product or service. Now, when we look at any process, we typically find a large amount of non-value-added activity or waste. Now, the Japanese word for waste is muda, and as it relates to the overall lead time of a product, we normally find that this muda takes up an enormous amount of time. Oddly enough, the value-added time, or the time our customer is actually willing to pay us for, is usually very small. Unfortunately, what we often see companies do is focus on the value-added portion of the lead time. In other words, as an example, they work to save a few seconds or minutes of machine or operator cycle time in order to reduce the overall lead time. And while this isn't necessarily bad, there's far more opportunity in focusing on reducing the waste in the process first before worrying about the value-added steps. And as an aside, if you need a refresher on the various types of waste out there, we'd encourage you to check out our Dealing with the 7 Deadly Waste course. Okay, well, now that we have a better understanding of what a value stream is, let's talk about one of the most powerful lean tools we have available to us, value stream mapping. Well, value stream mapping is a visual tool that helps us document all the activities required to receive and fulfill a request from our customer. It helps people see what's really happening in the process through direct observation. You see, value stream mapping isn't an activity you do in your office or a conference room, but as close to the actual process as possible so you can see the current state of the process and collect actual data. Now, value stream mapping will help make the overall flow of material and information across the entire process visible to people who normally manage individual functions, processes, or departments. And finally, a value stream map is a dynamic document that teams will continually add to and update as processes are improved. It's definitely not a document you create and tuck away inside of a drawer. Next, while there are similarities between a value stream map and a traditional process or flow map, there are some major differences. Now, perhaps the most striking difference is that value stream maps focus on both material and information flow. While many flow charts do a decent job on the material flow side of things, but completely leave out the extremely critical information side of things. Now, the tool we call value stream mapping finds its origins with the Toyota Motor Corporation, who first developed it as a tool for analysis and improvement. Oddly enough, if you were to ask old-timers at Toyota about their value stream maps, they may not know what you're talking about, since they don't technically call them value stream maps. Instead, they refer to them as material and information flow diagrams. Now, this picture offers a glimpse inside an actual Toyota production system handbook. Now, generally speaking, there are three main types of value stream maps. The first is what we call a process level VSM. Now, with these maps, we're interested in the material and information flow within a particular cell or production line. Next, we come to the factory or office level value stream map, also called a door-to-door VSM. Here, we're looking at the material and information flow within a factory or office. And finally, we come to the extended or enterprise VSM, where our focus is on the material and information flow across several companies. Now, we normally suggest starting with the door-to-door value stream. This is where we typically have the highest interest as well as the highest influence. It also gives us the best overall view of the flow from customer request to fulfillment. Okay, well, let's spend a few minutes discussing why value stream mapping is so useful. First, value stream maps help us visualize the overall process and not just a single process. They truly provide a holistic view of the way things really work. And they also allow us to see things from the customer's perspective. Now, this could either be a customer paying us for our product or service, as well as our internal customers who also depend on us. Value stream maps also allow us to see waste in a process like never before. We sometimes refer to this as learning to see. Now, they also allow us to see or visualize the links between material and information flow. Now, value stream maps also bring alignment to the organization. They provide a blueprint for improvement implementation while involving the people who actually do the work. They also provide us with a common language for talking about processes while allowing us the ability to operate with facts instead of by emotions or hunches. And finally, value stream maps help us focus like never before. Well, specifically, we begin to have a process focus and not just a product focus. We're also able to properly assign ownership to problems in a fact-based manner. And as it relates to project or Kaizen selection, value stream maps are extremely effective. In fact, it's not unusual for several projects or point Kaizen events to be identified after a current and future value stream map are completed. Okay, well, to wrap up this first module, we'd like to summarize the 8 steps an organization will follow when adopting a value stream focus. First, we must understand the strategic need for flow from an executive level. In other words, once a decision has been made to take a value stream approach, it's important to develop the message and communication plan. Well, this helps everyone understand how value stream mapping is linked to business needs at the executive level. To be sure, it's better to over-communicate the strategy, objectives, resources, roles, and how people fit into the process of mapping and improving value streams. The second step is to identify the primary product families. There are some specific tools we'll discuss in a later module where we'll examine things like product routings and product quantity analysis when dealing with manufacturing examples. Now we're ready to actually go to the Gemba, or the place the work is done, and create our current state value stream map. Now, if this is the first time that you've ever seen a value stream map, it can look a little intimidating. But rest assured, by the end of this course, you'll know exactly what all these boxes, triangles, and squiggly lines mean. Now, the key to current state value stream mapping is to draw the process as it actually is. Now, it's tempting to draw the process as it was supposed to work or how it was designed to work, but we're not interested in this. Instead, all we want to know is how it's actually working on the particular day we're studying it. Will it be a little different tomorrow? Probably, but that's okay, because we'll be back tomorrow since these documents, as we've already learned, are dynamic in nature. Now, once we have the current state map complete, it's time to immediately start on the future state. Now, the future state map represents the ideal condition which will normally be achieved in 2 to 3 months. The future state map should answer the question, where do we want to be when we get there? Rather than envisioning what's possible, use your imagination. Although the lean tools will help you get there, don't let them limit you. Visit other companies that are ahead of you on the lean journey to benchmark their current state, and make sure you have a thorough understanding of world-class performance metrics and what the ideal state is for your particular business. Now, before we move on, I'd like to elaborate on what's meant when we speak about the ideal state. You see, lean and continuous improvement for that matter is a never-ending journey. So no matter how much improvement we make, we'll never be done. It's sort of like climbing a mountain. After lots of effort, you may make it to the top of one mountain, but it won't take long to find another one to climb. So just remember that once you've achieved your initial future state goal, you're not done. In fact, the moment you reach your first future state target, it'll be time to find another mountain to climb. Okay, well, now that the future state map is complete, it's time to get busy and create detailed action plans, which we'll cover in more detail later in the course. Unfortunately, this step is often skipped by those attempting their first value stream maps. And it could be argued that this is the single most important step, since without it, all we've really done is draw some nice pictures on the wall. Now, once the implementation plan is in place, it's time to officially appoint a value stream manager. Now, this is a crucial role since most organizations operate in functional silos. Well, the value stream manager is responsible for breaking through these barriers in such a way as to get all departments thinking as one company. Now, depending on the complexity of the value stream in question, there may be a need to appoint more than one value stream manager. However, in most cases, one well-respected and action-oriented individual will do. And as we've already touched on, it's crucial to communicate before, during, and after value stream mapping in an area. Now, it's quite natural for people to grow nervous or weary of all the hustle and bustle a value stream mapping exercise brings with it. Now, the only way to combat this anxiety is to have open and honest communication. And finally, making the actual value stream maps and associated action plans visible to the entire workforce is an excellent communication technique and definitely should be employed. Now, the 8th and final step of the process is to map all the value streams. In other words, we'll repeat the previous 7 steps for all the other product families. Now, depending on the complexity of your business, this could take months, even years. And while it will be a lot of hard work, the rewards and benefits your organization will reap are immense. Okay, well, now that we've been introduced to value stream mapping, it's time to learn how to select which product family to map first. So, we'll speak to you soon.